All right, guys. Welcome to the Give It Podcast. Podcast for blurs, for nerds. If you have a fandom, you are always welcome here. Of course, I'm your host and most, Will Buchanan. Of course, BlackFox447 on all socials. Just me today, guys. Of course, Joe did have other matters, but he definitely will be back next Friday with us. So he is definitely still around in spirit. So aside from that, guys, before we get started, much like WWF of old, it's definitely TV 14, if you will. There will be some words that might be said. There may be some videos that might be shown that might be just too intense for younger viewers. But again, viewer discretion is advised. Aside from that, welcome. So, how do we start with this first? Well, I never thought I'd say this, but again, Disney, the literal gauntlet holder, I guess you will, of all mostly intellectual property out there, has came out and said, run your pockets. Yes, Disney has sat there and said that they will be, with their Disney Plus subscription, that they will be actually increasing prices. Of course, with new tiers. If you're paying $79.99 a month, it does mean that is going to become the new ad-supported subscription cost. Whereas if you're like me and you hate ads and you will pay more just to get rid of ads, you are going to be paying at least $3 more a month for the premium, which will be $10.99 a month. Of course, if you do have the Disney Plus Hulu and ESPN bundle, especially with Hulu, of course, it's going to cost you more, $12.99 to start you off. Now, I know a lot of you out there are thinking, for the simple fact of the matter, this is kind of how what Netflix has done and other tiering services have done. Once they get a lot of subscribers, a lot of content, and we also know with what Disney's rolling out with, they're having a lot of content on top of what was already purchased. And again, what's the next in their cinematic slate? Now, if you think about the long run, $2 or $3 isn't bad. But again, it does kind of give telltale warnings. Could Disney Plus possibly be getting bloated? I wouldn't think so, considering the fact that a week from now that we will be enjoying She-Hulk. Disney's Andor won't be too off from now. And again, the remainder of the end of Phase 4, beginning of Phase 5 is about to start soon. So, I mean, the price detail isn't that bad, but again, like I said before, Netflix are doing the same thing, which again, after a while, Netflix, got a little too greedy in the budget, started cutting back original programming, things of that nature. But I will say, in my humble opinion, again, with Disney Plus, I don't think it's going to be bad. I think, once we start getting to where do we want to be with Disney, the price in itself, like I said, even though it's $3 or $4, it's not really bad. I don't think it's going to cause that much of a rumble. But again, it's a sign of the times that we live in, that everything's going up but your paycheck. But that's neither here nor there. But speaking of Disney Plus, however, like I said before, we are not too far off from the next Thursday's theatrical release of She-Hulk being introduced. And of course, they did have one more trailer for us to look at that just dropped as of yesterday.
Cinematic universe. The people are protected by two separate yet equally important groups. The heroes who save them, and the attorneys who clean up their collateral damage. But only one can be both. This is her story. Dun dun.
Lawyer show. She-Hulk's a legal comedy like we've never done before.
All rise.
Whoa! Change back now! Emil!
All right, calm down.
What's fun is the types of Marvel characters that come to her for legal advice.
No judge is going to take this seriously unless we do things by the book.
Oh, the Book of Ashanti.
No, the Book of American Laws.
It's a law show, like Ally McBeal or The Practice. And then it breaks all those rules.
The fun of the show is to combine this legal world and all of the possibilities around superhero weirdness.
Call my lawyer.
I just want to be a normal, anonymous lawyer.
We're really pushing boundaries. Other shows haven't before.
Case closed.
Dun dun.
You know what? I wonder how much it took for them to get the Law and Order sound out of that. But that is going to be She-Hulk. Again, I am going to look forward to this when it comes out next Thursday, August the 18th, just because it's going to not only show She-Hulk, like I said, with She-Hulk, it is going to be it is going to be an entry point for a lot of new characters in the MCU. Of course, I still fully expect to see Tim Roth as Abomination. We get to see Wong. We get to see, of course, Bruce Banner as Professor Hulk. But again, of course, Daredevil. Let's be honest. Daredevil, it's hard not to say that I'm looking forward to see Daredevil, considering that he's going to be, that Daredevil is going to be appearing in a lot of Disney content before we get to Born Again. Which again is going to be an 18-episode series. Now, it is rumored, hasn't been confirmed yet, we're still waiting on confirmation, about Moon Knight, which, of course, they are, the last time we seen Moon Knight, Oscar Isaac and crew were in Egypt filming. Could this be the beginning of the Midnight Mission for season 2? Like I said, hopeful, but hard to say. But again, we'll look out forward to this. But also other things I wanted to point out since we're here. I won't go too much into detail. First and foremost, I did post this on my Instagram about the Sandman. Again, one of Neil Gaiman's best graphic novels that was adapted to Netflix. And if you haven't seen the 10-episode first season, I highly recommend you should. I will not go into deep detail until Joe is back next Friday, because I definitely want his opinion on this. I will say, as a person who reads the Sandman, it is definitely worth watching. It seems they took a lot of detail to it. Not really changes, but again, I won't go too far into. I will suggest sit there and say that it is definitely worth watching. And again, if you've never read the Sandman, please go to your local comic book store or go to your local library. The actual graphic novels are there. I would highly recommend reading them. They are great literature. Not for kids. The term graphic novel should kind of suggest not for kids, but we got to say it anyway. Concerning the fact that there are 8-year-olds out there that know what Five Nights at Freddy's are. So, again, with that being said, you should definitely watch it. We'll go more into detail into it next week once Joe is back, because I definitely want his opinions on the Sandman as well. But what I will give my opinions on, since we're in the Netflix realm, is the movie Day Shift. Again, if you have not seen Day Shift, before I play this trailer, how can I put this over so nicely? Think a sprinkle of the Evil Dead, a sprinkle of Die Hard, and almost every buddy cop comedy you've ever seen, and then mix vampires in. You pretty much get Day Shift. But before I give my opinion of it, here's a trailer.
It's going to be a hot one in Los Angeles.
So what's on the agenda today?
Close your eyes, my eyes are closed.
Like every day.
What are you doing in my room?
Hunting vampires. Money.
Vampire hunting is a business. Cut necks and cash your checks. Well, things have changed since you got your ass kicked out the union.
If I don't come up with 10K, my wife and my daughter are gonna move to Florida.
Hi, Dad. You're late again.
And the union is the only place that could give me that kind of money.
Your record is chock full of incidents. But he's a new man. One last chance. This is your final warning.
Let's get crazy.
Oh, no! Help me! Vampires just tried to kill me. Now I just pissed my favorite fucking
Hey, everybody pisses themselves the first time.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you?
No, I didn't. But listen, you did. You know what I see when I see a vamp? Big old dollar sign. Hey, don't you puke in here.
I swallowed it.
Locked and loaded.
Doggy dog in the motherfucking
Vampires. They're the amongst us. And all they are is murderers. It's not Eclipse, New Moon, Breaking Dawn Part 1. It ain't like that, all right?
Why do you know the names to all the specific Twilight films?
What?
And what's your gripe with Breaking Dawn Part 2? It's the exciting conclusion of the whole Twilight saga.
Welcome to the day shift, motherfucker.
Works every time.
Murder was the case that they gave me.
Okay, so that was Day Shift. Now, again, this is available right now on Netflix for you to go watch. I will tell you off the bat from watching it, it is, you know what? It was a surprisingly good movie. At the same time, again, not to go into detail to it because it's just fresh. The fight scenes, you know what? I believe it when they said the same people that were involved with the John Wick movies are the same people that came up with fight scenes in Day Shift. Like I said, it's available on Netflix right now. I think it's a good movie. It's a good movie to relax to laugh to. I mean, like I said, it is all of those things combined into one. And if you really think about it, and I will argue this, and feel free to tell me this in the comments, it's hard to find a Jamie Foxx movie that bombed. And I mean bombed. I'm not saying that, you know, I'm talking like if he made that movie, you would never watch it again kind of bomb. But like almost every movie he's been in has been have done fairly well. And so I think the Day Shift is going to do that as well. But switching gears for a second, guys, we got to talk about, we really have to talk about DC. Don't get me wrong, I love DC. I am a DC. I consider myself a DC fan first, if you will. I consider myself a DC fan first. Not to say I don't love Marvel or Wildstorm or any of the other comics out there. I love them all equally. But Detective Comics, it holds a place in my heart. And you've heard me, Joe, and possibly others that we know in our circle of podcasting. We wonder where DC is going right now. DC is facing a lot of questionable decisions, if you will, up front. And today, I knew this was coming, but again, DC right now is facing a conundrum, if you will, when it comes to the Flash. Of course, with Ezra Miller being again caught with, I think it was charge of burglary, because breaking, entering, and burglary. He was taking things he wasn't supposed to take to. I don't know. Some words are escaping me at the moment. Just walk with me on this. But anyway, again, Ezra Miller's in legal troubles. And he was, well, until they decided to finally axe him, still is the star of the Flash movie. And again, DC has reportedly said that they are considering three choices. With Warner Brothers Discovery, they are weighing out three possible scenarios to deal with the Flash movie, considering the fact that Ezra Miller just cannot seem to keep out of trouble. Each of the options are a little bit weird. The first one involves very limited press. And the only stipulation is that he will do, Ezra Miller will do very little press, but he will seek professional help. And then again, try to use a PR spin on an interview, possibly protected and exclusive, to explain his behavior. But again, he would do limited press if they decide to go with option number one. Option number two is that even if he doesn't seek professional help, the movie would still be released, but he would be 86 from any type of marketing and press, which would be weird. But again, I can see DC trying to protect themselves. That we invested 200 plus million into the movie. So therefore, if we are going to try to bank on this as it stands and hope that Michael Keaton is enough star power to save this movie along with Ben Affleck, then cool. We can try that and just run the dice that Miller's lack of involvement will not hinder the movie in any way. And then the third one, as I like to call it, the nuclear option, is that they scrapped this movie completely, which again would be a $200 million plus loss if DC has already decided to do this. Now, keep in mind, for the simple fact of the matter, guys, they've already done this to Batgirl. Batgirl was a completely completed movie, and they still decided to shelve it. Now, I know a lot of people, including myself, I was looking forward to Batgirl just because I want to see Brendan Fraser's Firefly. That was me. I didn't really have a lot of hope in the Batgirl movie, just because I kind of feel like when it does different spinoffs from the actual trinity of DC heroes, those movies do not do very well, especially for the fact that, from what we were told, the test scores from the film being introduced to certain groups did poorly. And I know a lot of people are going to say, well, Black Adam did poorly and they reshooted it. Well, there's a big difference. And I'll argue this, and feel free in the comments to say differently. There is a reason why Black Adam got to reshoot and Batgirl did not. Because DC, for all intents and purposes, has a reputable star in Black Adam. They want to see The Rock not only do Black Adam, but they want to see him fight Shazam. They want to see him fight Superman, preferably Henry Cavill if they're able to make him happy. But that's the reason why they're banking on Black Adam, because Black Adam is a future cash cow versus Batgirl that is a 1 to 5 shot. And again, that's the reason. I mean, and don't get me wrong, I am not saying that in the world of DC, and I'm the main proponent of this. I am a Batman fan. I don't think we need another Batman movie. Don't get me wrong, Matt Reeves' Batman, great, loved it. Do we need a sequel? I don't think we do. I don't think we do. And for the reason being, because this is going to mess with the proposed DC plan of actually making a continuous cinematic universe. With that being said, that has to end, unfortunately, in my opinion, for DC's plan to work, the end of non MCU standalone movies has to stop. So I can see why. If you're going by that logic, I can see why they decided that. But this again goes back to the whole Black Adam situation. That with the Flash, it's a nuclear option. I mean, it's do we still push it forward? Because that's the thing. Do you push it forward and have Ezra Miller seek help, and then have him do limited press, and then have him go to rehab or any of these things, and then find a big name interviewer, make it a big press about that, have him come out and say that he was hitting rock bottom, that he didn't know what to do, and that he finally sought help, and to maybe resurrect his career? Possibly. But let's be honest, in that scenario, it is very, very, very difficult to see any positives come out of that. Or go option 2. Kick Ezra Miller out of the press completely, still run the movie. But again, as most people do associate things with, they associate the movie with the actor. Everybody remembers that Ezra Miller was accused of grooming someone younger and kidnapping them, and then running from the law, and then the multiple charges from there, and now the most recent one with burglary. Again, it's going to associate that with the movie. It could tank the movie, and the movie could still turn a loss. Keep in mind, this movie's film cost is $200+ million. That's a hellified gamble to take upon a person that is literally tanking his own reputation along with the movie. No matter how much star power you put behind it, there's still a chance that possibly can happen. And then there's number 3. I don't think, in my opinion, they'll do number 3. I don't think Warner Bros. Discovery can turn around and scrap the Flash movie. I don't think they will. Because, again, once you put that big of a number on it, Batgirl's total movie cost production was lower than the Flash's. And Warner Bros. Was ready to eat that cost. with the Flash and what they've done behind it, the press and things of that nature, it's one of those things to where it's almost as if they can't shelve it. It's like whatever happens, I would be more if I was DC. Say if you're DC, and feel free to say this in the comments as well. But if you're DC, what's the option you choose? Do you go for it? Do you leave? Do you believe Ezra Miller in it? Do you leave him out of it, or do you not just show it at all? I mean, do you kick it? Do you pretty much kick it to the Phantom Zone where it's never been seen again? For me, I go option two. And try to use the other stars in the movie and run with that press. I will leave Ezra Miller out of it because number one, you want to signal to the world that you are doing a clean break with Ezra Miller, as they should. I think at the same time that you want to show willingness. Like I said before, there's plenty of other actors. Now, I think if you're going to reshoot it to where the new Flash will show, and there's plenty of them. I forgot the guy's name who was playing the new MacGyver. It'll come back to me later. But he played in the reboot MacGyver. I think he would be great. I still think that if you wanted to, you can even go. Shoot, I am brain dead right now. I forgot his name. Grant Gustin. There we go. Go DC. Go CW. Grant Gustin right there would literally be great. He would be. So why not just turn around and use those other areas? Lucas Till. There we go. Lucas Till. Lucas Till from MacGyver would make a great Barry Allen. Or go Wally West. But what I'm saying is you actually have multiple avenues you can go. And I just say for me in that situation, I would turn around and reshoot it to where literally and figuratively that whatever comes out of the Flash at the end would be the new Flash. And you can use the paradox as a cover, and it would be great. Not only could you turn around and introduce the new Flash, but again, the paradox would be the perfect cover. Because if the paradox story is at the center of it, you can use that to not only break away from Ezra Miller, but to bring in someone that takes over. And we could pretty much say it's because of the paradox. But no, I don't think, but to be honest with you guys, I don't think they're going to shelve the movie. But at the same time, I don't think that they're going to ask Ezra Miller to be a part of it just because, let's be honest, the cat right now is quote unquote unstable. He cannot be trusted to save a movie. But also that being said, DC has had other news that has come out. It's basically, like I said before, DC is really wanting to push forward on the 10-year plan, on the 10-year continuity plan, which it can do. I've said it before. There's nothing wrong with DC basically mirroring or copying, however you want to call it, or imitating what the MCU has done. Disney/Marvel gave us the Infinity War saga, spanning 20 plus movies. Nobody argued that. They're about to do the same thing with the multiverse saga. Again, nothing wrong with that. DC could turn around and tell the same type of story across multiple films, bringing in new characters, and that's fine. But in order to do that, they do have to bring forward a Kevin Feige type. Who knew that the name Kevin Feige would actually be now known as the quote unquote name? Instead of a name, it's literally described as a person that's going to be the head of the DC universe. With that being said, they did actually float a name out there that the Arrowverse boss Greg Berlanti is a possible candidate to be for DC Films what Kevin Feige is for Marvel. And keep in mind, he is one of the architects in the CW success in creating the Arrowverse. He helped with shows with Arrow, The Flash, DC Legend of Tomorrow, Supergirl, Superman and Lois. He also helped on the HBO Max side with Titans, Doom Patrol, Black Lightning, Stargirl, Batwoman. He also helped animation shows, as you can see there, The Raid, Deathstroke, Knights and Dragons and Constantine, Cities of Demons, which are two animated movies that were done by CW. Now, he does have the resume. However, if it was me, again, I still want to know you guys' opinions in the comments. I don't think he's the guy. I hate to be the guy that, I hate to be controversial, but I don't think Greg Berlanti is the Kevin Feige to DC. I don't. I think it has to be somebody who is, I won't say involved or been previously involved with Warner Bros. Before they became Warner Bros. Discovery, because again, Greg Berlanti has had his fingers in a lot of pies. And although he was great for television, I don't see that transition happening toward movies. And I know Warner Bros. Discovery does not want to make another Snyder mistake. What I mean by that is they gave Snyder the full keys to the kingdom for DC, and he squandered it. And, we could argue up and down all day about Batman vs. Superman and Justice League and the Justice League Snyder Cut, whether it was cinematically great or cinematically great, but, storytelling horrible. We could argue that all day. But at the end of the day, Snyder was not the guy to help cultivate a cinematic universe for DC going forward. Do I think Greg Berlanti is it? I don't think he is. I don't think he is, because directors that direct on the small screen don't translate well to the big screen. I think that there needs to be a search involved. There needs to be groups involved. There needs to be a plan involved to finding whoever it is going to be the head honcho to this. But I don't think Greg Berlanti is it. I don't. I really don't. And I'm not saying that the fact that he possibly could do it, but I just don't see it. Considering the fact that the Arrowverse wasn't, and this is my argument. My argument is the reason why Greg Berlanti may not be the guy is because look at the current Arrowverse right now. I mean, if you really think about it, every DC show that he cultivated on the CW, if you really think about it, it wasn't built to last. It wasn't. Arrow wasn't built to last, because you can tell after about season 3 of season 4, I mean, the storytelling really went downhill. The Flash, as you see it now, like I said, the last season was, even though Flash got his gold boots, but the last season, The Flash was really just some of the worst story writing and show running in that show's history. And with season 9 being its last one, some would argue that The Flash has been on, too long. And with its multiple storyline issues. I mean, the whole thing of, Force Lightning and everybody getting Flash powers and we are Team Flash. It just kind of destroyed it destroyed what actually made the Flash great, in my opinion. Legends of Tomorrow, do we even want to go there? Legends of Tomorrow, I mean, again, another Greg Berlanti hand put in, but if you really think about it, it was a show, it was literally as if it was Seinfeld for superheroes. And don't get me wrong, Seinfeld, very funny show, but that's what it was. It was literally a show about nothing. Timekeepers, in which the original cast has changed hands so many times that it was almost as if the show running for that show was a joke, and hence canceled. Supergirl, again, another Greg Berlanti creation. Wasn't built to last. Tried to bring in characters from Superman's world. Tried to actually bring in enemies that Superman has fought, but not really giving Supergirl her own identity and storytelling. Again, canceled. I mean, Black Lightning, do I even want to go there? Black Lightning, again, I had such hope for. And I thought that, if Greg Berlanti really wanted to save that show, all he had to bring in was Static. he had to bring, if he brought in Static somehow with Black Lightning, or brought in Icon somehow with Black Lightning, or brought in Rocket, or brought in any of the milestone character creations, which is available in DC's wheelhouse, it could have saved Black Lightning. Because for 3 seasons, which 3 seasons I kept hoping for, I rooted more for the main villain of Black Lightning than I did for Black Lightning himself. That's saying a lot. But again, canceled. I mean, if you think about the Arrowverse they attempted to create, it just seems like this has all Greg Berlanti's hands on it. And again, this goes back to my argument that says that for the simple fact of the matter, Greg Berlanti is not the individual that we really do need running the cinematic universe, because they did not foresee building television shows, building an Arrowverse that simply did not last. I mean, for 4 or 5 seasons, it was great. Beyond that, instead of hanging it up, you literally just ran the money cow dry. So, again, for me, I don't think Greg Berlanti is the right guy to head up the DC Cinematic Universe. I still think there are plenty of directors out there, and I think there needs to be a conglomerate of directors. I think there needs to be, if DC truly wants to be different, and this is just my opinion, have someone who understands the comic source, but also understands cinematography. That's what I said with Marvel. Marvel, what they did differently with every director took every movie in a different direction. Taika Waititi was the best person for Thor, because you could see that from Ragnarok, from Love and Thunder, when he took over both movies did better than the original Thor and Thor the Dark World. That's just being honest. When you see Chloe Zhao, when she took over the Eternals, again, it was the direction the Eternals need to go in to actually show a little bit more cinematography for the type of storytelling it was. Ant-Man had to be like a heist, and it was perfect. Peyton Reed actually gave us an Ant-Man series that, again, was great. But that's just examples. That's what I'm saying. That's just examples of where these directors have taken these movies, and you need to have that type of direction in DC. They do have that a little bit in Aquaman and Shazam, because you can tell with those 2 movies right there, the direction there is great and no issues. Wonder Woman's got to redeem itself. Miss Patty Jenkins, Wonder Woman after Wonder Woman 84, the next Wonder Woman movie is going to need a little bit of redeeming. That's all I'm saying. But no, I don't think, like I said, just to wrap that up on a pretty little bow, I don't think Greg Berlanti is the guy who should be heading up the DC Cinematic Universe. Did a great job on CW. Don't see it for the big screen. That's just me. But moving right along, guys. Speaking of Warner Brothers, a new Mortal Kombat trailer has just dropped. Not for any future game, but another animated movie with a fan favorite. I'm actually looking forward to this. Mortal Kombat Snowblind. Or I should say Mortal Kombat Legends Snowblind. Sorry.
Once upon a time, you all lived together. Then the wars came. And you ran off into your little corners of the world. Now you're scared for your life. All you have to do is pledge your loyalty. All kneel before King Kano.
My eyes!
Can she wield me and see? The sword, it allows you to see.
I, Kenji Takahashi, want to be the greatest fighter to ever exist.
I will teach you to use your senses, to live, not to die, to be the best warrior. Take your stance. Let's protect Earthrealm and end this right now.
This is my fight.
Your souls are mine. Without that sword, you're nothing. You want the challenge? Good.
Time to die.
Against those with power, no one stands a chance.
Is it just me, or is it getting a little bit nippy out here?
He's here. And there is nothing you can do to stop him.
Okay, so that was a trailer for Mortal Kombat Snowblind, Mortal Kombat Legends Snowblind, I meant to say, Snowblind, and Blind Kenshi looks awesome. I do like the fact that they're kind of going a kind of an origin story with Blind Kenshi, using Kano when he was with the Black Dragons, using Shang Tsung and Sub-Zero. There's always got to be a Lin Kuei because, you know, Scorpion's kind of been having his time in the spotlight. But again, I'm looking forward to that because, you know, there really hasn't been any bad Mortal Kombat animation movies. Not really. I mean, there were some that were okay, some that were, but it's never been just flat out, I'll never watch it again. Except if you count them on HBO Max. But, you know, we that's another day for another argument. But looking out for it, I think it'll be releasing out very soon. It says look for it on digital and Blu-ray. So it'll probably be coming out very soon. But again, not to go back to DC, guys, just a few more times before we wrap this up and call it a night. Everybody's worried that with DC, you know, shelving Batgirl, that possibly the Flash is going to be on its way out. Flash might be shelved, maybe shown, they don't know. They're worried about other shows such as Doom and Doom and Titans. Now, don't get me wrong. Again, this is Warner Bros. Discovery going back and looking at everything and going, is this worth it? And I can't. And again, this is Warner Bros. Discovery. I understand you were looking at this from the bottom dollar. You were looking at this and going, okay, Titans have been on for 3 seasons. Doom Patrol has been on for 3 seasons. After the Batgirl cancellation, it's like, what's the value in this? I will tell you off the bat. There is value in Titans. There is value in Doom Patrol. They have done both very well on HBO Max. The ratings for both those shows have actually increased. They have not decreased. And at the same time, again, I just think those are safe bets. Now, that's just like with a second season of The Peacemaker. James Gunn has already came out and sit there and said that Peacemaker season 2 is well and safe off, that people should be worried about that. Again, the Peacemaker series was one of the more, was a breakout hit as well. So we're not really worried about that. Even Harley Quinn is safe. And I'm going to be honest, Harley Quinn to me, on HBO Max, that's about the best way I could put that. Some people love it. I'm just saying there's some parts in it where I'm just like, I'll just go back to Teen Titans, go and watch that. But again, that's what I was telling folks. I don't think we should panic personally over any cancellations over surefires. Like I said, I think to myself that DC's Titans and Doom Patrol are surefires. I think that they will survive the reconstruction of Warner Bros. Discovery. I don't think that they will be canceled. I just think that, you know, some people's like when they hear Batgirl got canceled, I'm like, Batgirl wasn't a sure thing. I'm sorry, she wasn't. The story itself, she wasn't. The test from the film screenings didn't show pan well, and they didn't see enough value in it to reshoot anything. I'm sorry. It is what it is. But I do think that with DC's Titans and with DC's Doom Patrol, I think we'll be better off and just fine. I think we just need to ride that thing out. Because again, everybody hears that one thing got shelved. It's like a domino effect, which again, I can understand. But in this case, I think we're fine. But one thing I want to sit there and say that it's not fine. Oh, and by the way, for all Batgirl fans, Leslie Grace, who was playing the lead role in the Batgirl film, Warner Brothers is wanting to put her in different movies. So I just want to point that out as well. Warner Brothers is really wanting to keep her in the role just in different movies because again, she, like I said, it's just establishing the character. So if there's anything to be said by that yeah, her solo movie may have been scrapped, but as far as the actor keeping the role and that they want to put him in future movies, again, that's all well and good. It's almost like if you really think about it, the reason why you will not see a Matt Reeves Batman 2 is because, again, Ben Affleck will be showing in Aquaman 2, The Lost Kingdom. So Batfleck may be making a return. And again, I see what they're trying to do. It's reconstituting a cinematic universe, which would explain why the standalone Batman movie may not get a sequel. I don't think it needs it. I think the first one itself was just perfect. Do I think it needs a sequel? I really don't. But for Leslie Grace, who plays Batgirl, it's nice to know that they do want to keep her in that scenario. It really does. But the one thing that I wish DC would go ahead and scrap immediately, Joker 2, the sequel. I'm like, I know for a lot of us, we all heard the story, okay, that Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, which albeit was a departure from what we used to, that it did focus more on mental health and things of that nature versus actual anarchy. I get it. And the fact that Joaquin's character, that his character, spoiler if you hadn't seen Joker, didn't die at the end of the movie. So, of course, with this being said, not Harley Quinn, we will see Harley Quinn just because Lady Gaga has signed on to do this. Now, if you haven't seen Lady Gaga act, first of all, I think she's a phenomenal actress. A Star is Born, House of Gucci, if you have not seen it, great films that she's been a part of. That she, but let me also say this, because it hasn't been officially confirmed that she will be Harley Quinn, but come on now. I'm like, just because they didn't say it, I'm like, what else would Lady Gaga be in the Joker 2 movie? That's all I'm saying. But the fact that it's going to be a musical, how can I put this ever so nicely? I don't know. To me, it's like we want to make it a musical or add musical sequences to it, and I only can think they're doing this just because of Lady Gaga's musical ability. Because let's be honest, the woman can sing. The woman can sing her ass off. But with Joker 2 being a musical, I don't see the allure. I thought at first it was a joke, but if there's one thing that I wish Warner Bros. Discovery with 86, I wish it was that. I wish it was. I mean, in the comments field, please feel free to tell me, what's the plus side to this movie? I mean, unless you're a fan of Broadway, I know there's fans of Broadway. I'm a fan of Broadway myself in a few plays that I've seen. But I don't see how this will work in the DC cinematic universe going forward. So, but again, we'll see how that goes. I just wish that was one of the things that Warner Brothers would shelve. But last two things I got, guys, before we get out of here. Unfortunately, there are some video game delays. Hogwarts Legacy has been delayed until February 2023. Along with that, Marvel's Midnight Sun has been pushed back to March of 2023. Nothing wrong with these two things, guys. As I've usually said before, there is nothing wrong with game delays. I think that when we're asking for games to be of a monumental design, we're expecting a lot of things. We're expecting gameplay. We're expecting graphics. We're expecting story. We're expecting multiplayer for all you multiplayer people. I'm sorry. Sometimes I like campaigns. I like single player. I like to be able to just enjoy a story. That's just me. Where everybody else, do you. But with that being said, with games of this magnitude, expect that because of corporate interest, because of deadlines, because of coding and making everything work together, and especially for online play, all that can lead to multiple bugs in the game. And I have always sat there and said, I'm a big proponent of this, just because one of my favorite games I would hope that I would still be playing, Anthem, which again, I love when Anthem was released. I thought it would be a very good Destiny comparison. And what they did to that game was horrible. I mean, bugs, patches, The first game, the first weapon you got in the game was the best weapon in the game, and they tried to save it, but again, it was one of those things that was just bogged down with way too many bugs, and eventually EA decided to move on. And I always felt like let that be a lesson that, again, when you have games like Hogwarts Legacy, Marvel's Midnight Suns, those are going to be very intensive, high graphic, high demanding games, and they need to have the time taken to make sure that we're getting the best quality game available. I mean, you are paying 60 to 70 bucks for these games. You expect these games to be on point for, especially you get what you pay for. And I don't know about you guys, but it's hard for me sometimes. Well, except that's a lie. That's a lie. Because God of War is coming out this year and I've already pre-ordered it. So I stopped myself. God of War is coming out and I've already pre-ordered it. And I'm hoping to God of War Ragnarok is bug-free. But that being said, however, for Hogwarts Legacy and for Marvel's Midnight Suns, I would like for them to be as bug-free as humanly possible. I can live with that being bug-free. But my thing is, it has to be done properly. And again, without corporates trying to push things through to where they're going to charge you for 60, 70 bucks and you have a bug-ridden game. I mean, it doesn't work. I mean, I would prefer a bug-less game. I really would, because if you really think about it, going back to the days of Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, Sega CD, N64, even PS1. Could you really think of any bug games then? And feel free to tell me in the comments. I mean, I'm just asking for those guys who are in the 30+ age limit 30+ age group that I am, that have played video games all their lives. Could you imagine a time before PS2 that we actually had games that had bugs in them? I mean, games had Easter eggs, sure, but could you remember a time where games had bugs? Because honestly, I can't think of one. I can't. If you can, please in the comments field. I want to know. But again, I have nothing against games being delayed, because again, as long as we're getting quality gaming for our bucks, I got no issue with that. And of course, yes, I am looking forward to God of War Ragnarok. I cannot wait for God of War Ragnarok. You just can't get enough of it. But anyway, that's going to do it for this podcast, guys. I apologize. I actually have the comic book pulls this week. We will have them next week when my co-pilot Joe is back with me. But I do want to, again, thank everybody for watching, for liking, for letting people know. Even though we did not have comic book pulls, definitely still check out Rick's Comic Book City, located in Middle Tennessee. If you are in Middle Tennessee, it has 3 locations: Fort Campbell, Clarksville, and Donaldson. Please check them out. They were voted Nashville's #1 place for comic books. So definitely check them out. If you don't have a comic book if you don't have a comic book in your area, go to a library. A library has the most up-to-date comics, mangas, and animes that you, with the help of getting a library card, can rent, read, and watch to your heart's content. So definitely support your local comic book store, support your local libraries, and definitely get your read on. But before we get out of here, guys, some shameless plugging, as I always like to do. First, a shout out my buddy Vaughn at Big BZA Dot. You can definitely find him on all socials at Big BZA Dot, on Facebook at Vaughn Witherspoon. He's even on TikTok now, so definitely give him a look, because he has discovered his thoughts on TikTok. And sometimes he makes me shake my head, sometimes he makes me laugh, but that's my buddy. But definitely check him out, Big BZA Dot on all socials. Also, I know Joe's not with me, but again, YouTube, Total Justice Gaming is where you can find his YouTube. Of course, his Twitch stream is at Joe Italian last name. Definitely check him out there. Of course, for me, guys, my handle on all socials is BlackFox447. So definitely like and follow me on all socials. I usually give a review of everything I watch, including Day Shift and Sandman. And of course, some gym stuff as well, because I do a couple push-ups. At the same time, guys, I am all about positivity, moving people forward. Really on a midnight mission, you will, of just wanting people to get back to being decent. I'm not saying you got to be good Samaritans, blubbering all over the place, but, say hi, say hello, check up on your people, check up on all your friends and family, because we are all going through something that nobody may know about, but just checking up on them, making sure they're cool, will do a lot more than just make them smile. It may actually save a life in the process. So again, be nice, be kind. It takes 0 energy to be nice. It takes 100% of energy to be a dick. So again, be nice. Again, guys, with the link that's showing at the bottom, let me go ahead and make that just a wee bit bigger. If you copy and paste that link into your browser, we'll take you to my link tree that has the YouTube and Facebook groups for all of my podcasts, How the Fuck We Got Here, Get Bit, and of course, the Offense Podcast. Definitely like, share, and subscribe and go from there, guys. And I will also speak on Joe's behalf as well because he does work in the healthcare profession. Corona and its many Decepticon variants are out there. If you're going to be in a place that has a lot of people with large crowds, please wear a mask. Please protect yourself and others, and that's how we're going to get past this pandemic. Aside from that, guys, thank you all for watching. We will be back here next Friday, same Get Bit time, same Get Bit channel. And, of course, take care of yourselves and each other, and we will all get through this. Have a good night, guys. Peace.